Hey guys, welcome to the Canada Puck Podcast, your weekly recap of what's going on in the world of sports, specifically hockey, and specifically just in Canada. Just this little tiny nugget right there. That's it. That's what we're talking about. Just this little nugget. I don't want to talk it so fast. I'm your co-host, Mick. You can find me on Twitter at ProfitMick. It's very ironic right now. And I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host,
Grant, on Twitter at Fourth Line Sports. Does that make us nugget farmers? Maybe we're gold panners. Like if this is a nugget, there's got to be some sort of analogy we can kind of work for. I feel like that's kind of what we're missing. We need that identity. Mm-hmm. Like if we were to grow prospector beers, show up with old beards, and show up with old lanterns, then people could casually refer to us as like the prospectors, or something along those lines.
You're thinking like you want to do like 1980s wrestling tag team or something like that. The prospectors. We come out with our little buckets and pails.
And then we could do an actual heel turn. I can 2x4 you in the back of the head, just like Hacksaw Jim Duggan and whoever his tag team partner was for a little bit. Can't even remember.
Irrelevant. So thanks a lot for making me Mr. Irrelevant on this podcast. Son of a gun.
Well, I mean, you could. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole here, but then you can come back as a special guest referee, and then 2x4 hit me in the head, and then from there we kind of
patch things,
make amends, and then we become tag team champions. It's just a natural progression.
When you're challenging for like the ownership of like Barstool Sports or something like that, all of a sudden I come out of the crowd and just sweet chin music. You was like, son of a bitch! Oh, he had the website won. Oh, my God.
I don't know why we do podcasts. We need to just write wrestling scripts. Like, I know people would watch this.
I tried watching wrestling a couple of weeks ago. It was awful. We could definitely write better than that. So,
you know why? It's AEW. AEW's taking over.
Yeah.
If you probably went back to the WWE, well, but
you know what? And I do because it feels comfortable. But I don't know anyone on WWE at this point. Like, I might as well just jump to AEW because I know as much about those guys. So,
and they have, at least from what I've seen, and this is from basically perusing Walmart toys yesterday, they have basically the entire stable of early knots WWE wrestlers.
I've heard that, yeah. I do follow like the dirt sheet sometimes, like this guy's there and this guy's there, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I do like Chris Jericho, so I don't know why I haven't got into that. That's weird.
Well, maybe we should do a tour. We'll abandon the hockey podcast thing, and we'll just tour AEW, follow them from site to site to site, and we'll podcast on that instead.
Could do that. I don't know. I think the online wrestling circles are pretty vicious and for a fake sport, guys take it really seriously, right? Like we sit here, we bash fan bases. We do nothing but like run fan bases through the dirt. And like no one cares in hockey as much as you would with wrestling. So if you're up for it, I'm up for it. I like a good online scrap, so.
All right, keyboard warriors, the old prospectors. It's coming.
It's coming. So if this is your first podcast, welcome. What we're going to do is we're going to run some headlines and just touch on each kind of the Canadian teams. We've got some gambling advice, some fantasy advice. Those are different things. I think Grant's going to try and win some hockey cards, maybe some other cards. I don't know. And we'll have some other fun stuff for you. So that's kind of it. So I think we got this lovely NHL.com opening website. I mean, what are you looking at? There's Leafs, there's the Calgary Police Service. Serve our community with us. You want to become police officers? Go there. Oh, no. Sorry. Standings. Should have went standings. We're going to go to the standings. We're going to scroll down to the bottom of the league. And we're going to start bottom up. Oh, no. The Ottawa Senators are at the bottom. That's where our journey begins today, is number 32. On the store seats. Number 4 in our hearts. The frisky Ottawa Senators. What's up with the Ottawa Senators?
Well, things aren't looking good over in Ottawa land. Le Capitale. What happened? Oh, the COVID thing. And then they came back and it just sucked.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of it, right? Huh.
Go ahead.
Did I see something about Matt Murray being waived?
That is beyond my level of knowledge when it comes to the Ottawa Senators. Was it just to send him down, or was it for the purposes of a buyout?
Buyout? I don't know.
It says here, Google, always handy Google,
yep.
Report sends G. Murray to be placed on waivers. That's on TSN. So if it hasn't happened, it's reportedly going to happen. And if that does, what does he make? $6 million No, not going to happen. I was like, man, okay, well, the Oilers need a goalie, but then no, it's not going to work. Not without passing off Koskinen and somebody else. So unless they trade them away for basically nothing, just so they can make a claim at Matt Murray. But you know what? The Sens don't need him. Philip Gustafsson has been playing absolutely outstanding. More on that later.
Oh, no, I don't like where this is going. All right, so we jump over the Arizona Coyotes, who apparently also don't play very good hockey. We get to the Montreal Canadiens. Eastern Canada just sucks at hockey, apparently. So, les Habitants, they've got 4 more games played than the Senators, but, I mean, they've got 3 more points. So that's pretty good. Good job, Montreal.
I'm not going to give them any credit. They don't deserve anything. I don't even know where to begin with them. They're terrible. They bring Jake Allen back, and then he gets shelled for, was that a six goals? Mm-hmm. Their back end is not looking good. Their forwards aren't producing. I thought maybe last night was a good spot for them to at least get some momentum going because they're in Buffalo, coming in rested. Granted, it was on the road, but nevertheless, I thought if there's going to be a time when they can compete at a team with a similar roster composition, it's going to be against the Buffalo Sabres. No, they left a shell of what they came in with, and that wasn't much. So whatever's happening in Montreal, they're paying for last year in the worst way. Dominic Ducharme just signed a 3-year contract extension, but things aren't looking good with him there now. So we'll see what happens.
Who would have thought that was a dumb idea? I beats me.
It beats me too.
Well, I mean, when you just get lucky for like a month and then you decide to, whatever, stupid Montreal. Moving on to, we get to go up to 27. With the Vancouver. There is just so much, not even mediocrity, like below, like shit hockey teams that we have to look at the bottom of the standings here, like abysmal. And like, if you're looking here, none of them really stand out. Let's say 24 down. So if it, just like 24 downs, we got the Kings. I would have thought they sucked. Buffalo, yep, they're not good. Chicago, their rebuild wasn't great. Vancouver sucks. Seattle, the Islanders, I'm still a little shocked on. I think those things might regress a little bit. Like if you're an Islanders fan, hold on. But Montreal, Arizona, yeah, just bad hockey. I basically glimpsed over the Vancouver Canucks by talking about every other team. So do you have anything to say about the crappy Vancouver Canucks?
I don't. Like, people are going to stop listening to what I have to say because I'm going to keep saying it until something happens. Travis Green needs to go. This is not working out. I don't know how much more evidence they need. It's not working, Vancouver ownership. It's just time to move on, and that's okay. Sometimes it hurts, but you'll feel better in the long run, I promise.
I feel like they're in a similar spot to Montreal where they're both mediocre roster builds, right? They've kind of got some inflated contracts, and instead of getting the success of going to the Stanley Cup Finals, they won a playoff series a couple years ago and kind of strapped themselves to these horses that are just gonna drown in the mud. And
that's the thing. They got rid of the 3 worst contracts in one deal to bring in 2 A+ pieces, or at least A pieces, and they're wasting it. They have a good roster. They acquired JT Miller. He's been great. They have Brock Bozer, Bo Horvat, Elias Pettersson, Connor Garland. They have Quinn Hughes. Their back end isn't terrible. I can't think of any other defenseman. Thatcher Demko has been okay, and if he had a better system in front of him, he would be outstanding. If he didn't have to make 80 game-saving saves a week, this team would be in a great position in the standings. But they just keep letting him down. So, like, get rid of Travis Green. This is way longer than we should have spent on the Canucks.
I was going to say, I was going to make some comment about it. I was like, I mean, you mentioned a bunch of players. I didn't hear any A's in that list. There was a lot of, like, C- players, maybe? So maybe that's the issue, is everyone's still drinking the Kool-Aid. But let's stop talking about the bottom. Let's go back to AEW for a little bit instead of talking Vancouver. Man, I can't believe... Nope, nothing was coming off the top of my head. Well, let's just keep on scrolling. So we're going to scroll through. Winnipeg. What have you done? 16th. Still in a playoff spot, maybe, depending how that works. Top 16, that's not terrible. Winnipeg Jets. Looks like things are regressing in Winnipeg a little bit, eh?
Yeah, again, it's kind of this never-ending battle, the seesaw, the ebbs and flow of the NHL season. But Winnipeg has been competitive. Their metrics have fallen off a little bit off their early season pace, but as we've seen, they continue to they just got their asses handed to them too, didn't they? Was it 6-3 they lost or something the other night? Let's see here. But anyways, Winnipeg, I feel like this is just going to be the status quo for them, and that is they can't sustain this for an extended time, then they're going to fall off. Then it's just going to be, can they do enough to stay in a playoff position?
Yeah, that's it. Poor Winnipeg. Defense, that's kind of the issue. Is that what we're thinking? It's kind of like forward group's fine, great, but just they're missing that kind of those blue chippers on the blue line.
Yeah, and they gave up way too many opportunities, and that's where Connor Hellebuyck comes in. And even, he's bounced back a little bit, but he's even below where I thought he would be. Just, taking a quick look here, they've outplayed, it's basically a 50-50 split over the last 2 weeks here, and that is they've been outplayed 3 times, and they've outplayed their opponents 3 times. So it's really just a matter of, like I said, putting forward those consistent efforts. A huge range for chances here. As few as 4, as many as 11, and this is just a 5-on-5. So, yeah, consistency and giving up those chances on the back end is the difference, because you can't ask Connor Hellebuyck to do it all.
Nice. All right, so I'm scrolling up. As you've been talking, I'm scrolling up. So we're at 60. We're at 8. I don't know when the next Canadian teams are going to pop up. But, I went too far. At 7... we get the Edmonton Oilers. They're fall from grace, number 1 in the league. They're still top 10, which is looking all right. What's going on with the Edmonton Oilers?
So their performance over the recent stretch is akin to the Jets, and that is exact same split. They've been outplayed 3 times and outplayed their opponents 3 times. They're Connor McDavid, actually. So first time all season he was held pointless. Not last game, but the game before. I think it was a 4-1 loss to Dallas. Didn't end up on the score sheet. That was the only time he hasn't recorded a point this season. But it's pretty evident that few teams have an answer for McDavid and Draisaitl. And you can the easiest thing to point to is the stat or the scoring leaderboard, and you'll see both players firmly planted atop the list. So if they can sort out goaltending, and I guess that's kind of what I was alluding to in the Send segment, is how do the Oilers get a goaltender? Off waivers is super easy, but they just don't have the wiggle room to do that. They've been linked to John Gibson in Anaheim. They've been linked to Marc-Andre Fleury in Chicago, and I've also heard rumblings that if and when Tuukka Rask decides to come back, they will be in that conversation, and that is, if he's willing to move on from Boston, the Oilers will be there to scoop him up.
Okay, nice. All right, so basically it's just kind of waiting for that change, and we're thinking that maybe Darnell Nurse was more important than we let on early on in the season,
I don't think I think everybody knows Darnell's value at this stage. He's going to go to the Olympics. He's been a captain. He just got that $9 million contract. He does it all. Power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. And you're right. And now Duncan Keith wasn't the Jesus that they needed him to be. And then he looked good for a game, and then he got injured. Now he's out. So their back end is a little thin. That's impacting things. And that's especially impacting their goaltending metrics. I did a dive on them last night. Koskinen has an 89.7% save percentage or worse in 5 of his 5 straight games. Basically, he's at an 87% save percentage over his recent sample. Stuart Skinner's come in playing well, but tonight, I don't think that this is a spot where you can put him in, because it's just going to destroy a young goalie's confidence. You can't start him against the Knights at home. It's just going to end terribly, especially when your back end is in shambles that it is. So, and you started to see a little bit of regression from him in his last outing, or maybe it was 2 outings ago. So goaltending is an issue. You're right. Absolutely. Darnell Nurse being gone is going to impact this team's back end. And that's going to, in turn, give their opponents more of a springboard to keep pace with their offense. So I guess, more succinctly, the Edmonton Oilers will be in some high-scoring games moving forward.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe we'll keep an eye on that. And we have to jump up 1 whole spot to the Calgary Flames. We're just rocking and rolling, looking like world beaters. Good job, Daryl Sutter.
I didn't think those words would ever come out of your mouth, Mick, but here we are.
Yeah.
I was expecting some sort of fall down. Like they stumbled a little bit at the start of their road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Then they picked things up. They came home. I was like, all right, well, this is kind of, in the past, this has been a bit of a letdown spot. I'm noticing it hasn't been a letdown spot this season, and this is across the NHL. But teams coming off road trip, returning home, that's kind of when you let your guard down. But they came back and they posted like their expected goals for percentage in that game was like high 60s at 5-on-5, if not 70. So Calgary is better than advertised, and they are going to. It doesn't look like they're going to slip up this season. Like, maybe it'll eventually come, but it's not going to be one of those, they slip hard enough to fall out of the postseason. It's going to be like, oh no, the Flames have lost like 3 or 4 games, and then they're going to pick things back up again.
Nice. Yeah, that's seems good. Or it's one of those things where, when you're winning and things are easy going, the message is very clear. Everyone can buy in. It's when they start slipping, the more hard approach of like a Daryl Sutter start to kind of spin out. Because he saw the same thing with LA, right? When he was with LA, things were good for a little bit, and then once they started to slide, it was just kind of a free fall, and he couldn't kind of like recoup that. So will we see that this year? I think they've got a pretty big cushion right now. Like, they should be all right to sustain some level of slippage and just minimize the damage on those things. So
yeah,
sorry,
but this is going to lead to a very exciting Pacific Division playoff, because now we have Edmonton, we have Calgary. I'm assuming Vegas is going to be in the conversation towards the end of the season, and at some point we're going to have a pretty good playoff matchup.
Yeah, I think so. It should be fun for those, for sure. It'll be one of those. You could go to a Flames game in Calgary, or you get plane tickets, a hotel room, a weekend in Vegas, and 2 tickets for the same price, and you're like,
That's a stupid thing. And the Sport Check Zone, I know people love it up there because you just get drunk as hell for like $40, but you can't even see the game. Like, you have to watch the game on the screens.
Yeah.
And that's on like $40 when they're playing well is like a midweek versus Arizona game. Like, I can't even imagine what it's going to be come playoff time.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely it's your theory of people just like to say they did something. Oh, I was at the Flame. It's like the prestige of like, oh, I went to the Flames game last night. It was a terrible experience. It was miserable and awful, but like, I'll build it up in my head as something greater.
Yeah, Mick's lifting the curtain on our Thanksgiving Day conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
the only other notable thing I'm seeing here is the New York Rangers at 5th. Like, they look like they're playing some pretty good hockey right now. Didn't see that coming.
No, and I should have touched on this when you mentioned it earlier, but the Islanders, I don't think they're as bad as they are. But conversely, I don't think the Rangers are as good as we think they are. So
yeah. All right. Yeah, probably some little bit flip-flop there. I mean, you also look at the top 10 right now. We get Minnesota. They play an all right brand of hockey, but like the Ducks and Columbus are at 10 and 11. So I think some things are going to change. I wouldn't get too comfortable where you're at, but we're just stalling before we talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs at 4th. They are just killing it. They're something like 12-2 or 13-2 in their last 15. They're playing pretty good hockey. Good job, Toronto Maple Leafs.
I've been talking about their progression for weeks, and that is after they started slowly. It's like it's just a matter of time before they figure things out and start heating up and winning games. And I think we're probably at the end of that now. Yeah. And we're starting to see they're on the West Coast. They just played San Jose last night. Who did they beat before that? Was it the Kings? They beat the Kings 6-3 on, what was that, Wednesday night?
Yeah.
So it feels like they're trending in the right direction, but we're at that point where they're starting to get outplayed, and the metrics and are going to start swinging the other way, and then the losses are going to continue to follow. So I think this time next week we'll be having a conversation of like, all right, how many games did the Toronto Maple Leafs lose this week? But for now, like, enjoy the hot streak, I guess, Leafs Nation.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like at any point, I think hockey is kind of a coin flip game, right? Like, you're not going to win every single one of your matchups. When you're 15-6-1, I would expect, you get to like 18-12, sooner than you're at like 25-6 type thing, right? So we'll see what happens, right? Stronger competition. Those California teams never seem that super appealing to me, right? So I'm glad that they went through and kind of got some points where they needed them. They probably got a tough contest against the Ducks coming up.
You know what? That could be the start of the downfall. And I had this conversation actually with an ex-NHLer at a bar a couple weeks ago. But I was saying that NHL or hockey in general, is the most chaotic sport. Mm-hmm. And that is like when it comes to baseball, that's kind of on the other end of the chaos spectrum, and everything stops and restarts. Football's kind of along the same vein where, like, yeah, granted, you have 22 people on the field, but they stop and start. There's less stoppage and starting in hockey, and there's more flow, and I think that makes it sometimes a little harder and a little there are more challenges with quantifying hockey compared to other sports, because with football and baseball in particular, when you stop and start, it's like, all right, well, how much is this expected play worth, or how much is this expected hit worth? But with hockey, it's a lot more challenging because everything comes and goes and flows, and it's harder to quantify anybody's specific value at any moment in time, less so than football and baseball.
Oh, 100%. That's why you see weird teams like the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, that perfect analogy.
Chaos in a blender there. All right, so with that done, that's the headlines. You're all caught up. You now know exactly what we knew from the last week. And sometimes we fall off the hockey calendar a little bit because there's so much going on elsewhere. You got to spend whole days drinking, watching footballs on couches. It's good times.
Yeah. Well, those days, you know what? I hate to say this, but those days are running out for this season. We're already getting down to the nitty gritty, but college football wraps up this. Yeah, you know what? Let's not.
Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. What we can do though is we can look at our FanDuel lineup. I believe we did one of these last week. Did I do good? No. No. I bet $1. I got 36th. I suck. I sucked last week. What happened last week? I think McDavid was fine. Brock Nelson called that one. I think he got 2 of the goals the 2 goals for the Islanders. Both came from him. Pujarvi, It was my flyer stack. Van Riemsdyk, Farabee, and Couture. They got a combined, 5-8, like 10 points. So, boo.
I don't have much to brag about either. This was a $1 tournament, finished 200th out of 1190. I won $2, so I guess technically doubled my money. Wasn't the heights I reached in the previous week, though. David Draisaitl combined for looks like almost exactly 50 points. Esa Lindell, I took a flyer with one of the Stars defensemen. Lindell paid off 27.6. And Sam Montembeault, Mr. Samwise Montembeault. 6-3 win over Nashville. He was looking good for a while. The Habs fell apart in the third period, allowed 3 goals. But for a small moment in time, I was like, you know what? He could get a shutout and really boost me up. Otherwise, my Red Wings stack didn't really pay off. Everybody got 8 points. Jesse Puljujarvi, 8 points. And Evgeny Dadonov, 8 points. But it was enough to, keep me competitive. Give me $1 to enter in this week's tournament. And I think I put together a strong lineup. But I want to hear who you got first.
Who do I got? So upcoming. Oh, look at these guys. There's people I've heard of before. That's exciting. So of course we're gonna start Saturday night. I need to start with my man, Connor McDavid. It's at 10,200. It's good value. He's gonna get you, like 40 something points or something like that, right? Like I think he needs 22 points. He's gonna exceed that, or 25.31 points. He's going to exceed that. So on the back end, I'm going to take Philippe Gustafsson against the Kings. The Kings are on like a 5-game losing streak or something like that. They're heavy favorites against the Senators. I don't see it, and I think the Senators have just as good a chance of winning that affair than the Kings. I think the Kings suck. So it's 6,700. I don't hate that play. I got my man Alex Pietrangelo against the Oilers. I think that's a high-scoring affair right there. So $6,600. And then I just kind of picked the crappiest guys I could basically find. On utility, I got Mark Scheifele and Connor Brown at $6,300 and $4,600 respectively. Rasmus Anderson at $4,100 for defense there against the Jets tonight for the Flames. Brady Tkachuk, friend of the show, at $6,900, which is the best name or the best value for Brady Tkachuk in the world. So, and then Ryan Johansson at center at 42, and Andrew Kopp at 54, and that's basically where we got today. So,
you know, it kind of bothers me a little bit that you announced your lineup before mine, because I also have Connor McDavid and Philip Gustafsson.
All right.
Connor McDavid, believe it or not, he's actually underachieved a little bit over his recent sample. And it's hard to look at a guy who scores, what did he get, 3 points last time out, or maybe it was even 4 points, and say, oh, man, this guy's underachieving. But he is, and that is his relative metrics are further ahead than his actual output. So I like him, and I think you're on the right track with a high-scoring game. And then LA overachieved substantially. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago when they were ripping through Canada. They went 3-0-1 on that trip, getting outplayed basically every night. They've gone home and continued to get outplayed every night, and they still won games for the early part. And we're starting to see that, ebbs and flow, the correction, maybe more technically, the correction phase that they've entered. Well, their metrics balance out with output, and this is kind of where we're at with the rationale behind backing Philip Gustafsson. $6,700. This guy's been playing great hockey all season. I don't get the $6,700 salary, but I didn't stop there with the Sens. Like you, I also like their chances tonight. So I put Josh Norris at center next to Connor McDavid, and that's kind of where it ended for me with Sens players. But I did add Mark Stone on the wing, kind of talking about high-scoring games in Vegas. That leads me to my two stacks. So I went with a wing stack, and then I added a couple Blues players. So that is Tyler Bertuzzi, Moritz Seider, Lucas Raymond, all in the 5,000 for Bertuzzi, 42 Seider, 54 Raymond. They get Buffalo at home on the second night of back-to-back. Who was their projected starter? I can't even remember, but I was like, this is a great matchup for the Wings. So they let me down this last week, so I'm expecting them to bounce back. Look for Wings to win kind of comfortably tonight. And Colton Parayko, this guy was a couple years removed from being in the Norris Trophy conversation. He's down to $3,900 on FanDuel. Still does everything, special teams, power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, skates basically top minutes on the top pairing. And this is where I'm getting a little fucky. So I'm sure you've gathered from listening, Mick, you know this probably better than most. I like to have a foundation for stepping off. I have no foundation for this. Jordan Kyrou was a card that I opened when you were over on Thursday, and he fit almost perfectly into my schedule. Or not schedule, my roster. I had 6,300 available. He was 6,200. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this sign. I overlooked the sign last week. Was that last week? 2 weeks ago with Dadonov, and then we both paid for it. I'm not overlooking it with Kyrou. Kyrou, he's going to be the point producer on tonight's slate. And that wraps up my FanDuel lineup for tonight.
You know what? We're pretty good. If you're just listening to us just for advice, we are hitting, I think, one of the highest scoring guys. Like Brock Nelson for myself last week was one of the best point getters. Batherson from a couple weeks ago, we had him or something like that. And I feel like you had somebody maybe like 3 weeks ago. So if you listen back to the last three shows and kind of just follow this segment, we're hitting on like one of the top point getters, like one of the lower level guys. So you kind of know what to look for there. You know, your Norris's, your Kyrous, maybe like Connor Brown. Downtown. Josh Norris. Downtown. There you go. All right. Nice. Yeah, I like it. I was going to maybe make some tweaks here and there. I don't see it. I kind of like where I'm going with this. I'm just going to let it ride. See what happens,
Yeah. You know what? You've been on a good track recently. I would say trust your instincts, because there was a couple weekends ago where, or you know what? There's a couple weekends ago, a couple podcasts ago, you're like, I don't like this lineup. I was like, don't worry, you're good. And then you might have tweaked a little bit, and that was probably one of your best rosters. Yep. So you got to doubt yourself. Tell yourself this is a pathetic roster, and then you'll have an outstanding showing.
Shit. All right. Well, I was too confident, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if Grant was right. Should I have doubted myself? Do I suck?
Philosophical debate to rage on throughout the week.
Nice. All right, sweet. So that leads into our gambling segment. So we take 100 theoretical dollars every single week. We bet on some games, and then we tell you about how awesome we are, how smart we are about gambling, and how we definitely don't suck. I think I've hit one ticket so far, so I'm just like bleeding $100 every week. So I'm probably down $300 to $400 depending what show we're in. How'd you do last week?
I went 0 for 3. That was my first winless, the first time this week where I didn't walk away with money in my pocket. So my bankroll took a bit of a hit. I'm still up plus money throughout the season, but it wasn't the showing. And I was going to pay for it because I had a perfect week the week before. I kind of switched things up last week and it didn't pan out. But I've switched things up even further. So I've abandoned my 3 picks, 1 money or 2 money lines, 1 tie play, and I'm going for knockout punches. Like I'm just gonna straight like super kick you to the moon with my picks tonight, so that there's no chance that you have of climbing back into this competition. I have 4.
I have 2.
Okay, I have 4. I'll go first. We finally figured this out good for us. Actually, you know what? Technically, I have 5, so I'm gonna go 2. You can go 1. I'll go 2, and then I'll wrap things up. Anyways. Talked about it. We both are on the Sens. It's normally a bad sign. Basically, the Ottawa Senators probably aren't even going to make it to the arena tonight.
Nope.
But at plus 172, playing against the Kings team that's having a hard time winning, Ottawa hasn't been great. But I think that the pendulum swung too far where the metrics are going to start picking back up again. Plus 172, I bet $20 on them to win 34-40. That was my only money line pick. The rest are ties. So I will lead off with this. I don't know why I just have this soft spot in my heart for like overtime games on Hockey Night in Canada. But tonight kind of feels like a good spot to do that with the Calgary Flames and Winnipeg Jets. And my rationale is this. Maybe it's not the first game that's the letdown spot, because I've noticed this once or twice already this season. Maybe it's a second game. Like you come in, you're ready to get back to action, your first game back from a road trip, and then you kind of sink into the comforts at home. So maybe a bit of a flat spot for the Calgary Flames. We'll see if that's the case tonight. Winnipeg, we talked about it earlier, kind of ebbs and flows, but Connor Hellebuck always shows up in primetime games, so I'm expecting him to, not put out the Flames, but at least limit them, help the Jets get at least a point. It's plus 340. So I have Winnipeg, Calgary, going overtime, $20 to win 68.
Nice. All right. So myself. Oh, I'm echoing.
That was my jack came out, but we're all good.
Okay, done. Nice. So I've got 2 picks. Let's just do a parlay. So I just kind of went and looked at guys that are on hot streaks, cold streaks, good teams that are not playing well right now, and we're going to go against that. So I like the 4-team parlay. I like the Panthers, for some reason, over the Kraken. I don't know. That's jumping out at me as an easy one. Detroit over Buffalo. I think Buffalo is on a win streak. I don't think they're going to go on a 2-game win streak. So basically, they won a game. I think they're the kind of team that they win one, they lose one, right? So Avs against whoever the Avs are playing. I think they're both on the other side of a win 1-1. So we're going to go with the Avs rebounding there. And we're going to end with the Blues, who are on a bit of a losing tear against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus is a good team to switch those things. So those 4 teams, that's going to give us plus 421. I'm betting $90 to win something like $468. That should like almost cover my gambling dues for the year. I might get close to 0 if I hit that one. So we're going to go with that one. Just play some streaks there.
Well, you're really asking the universe to align on that one, but I'm making an even bigger ask later. So good luck on that parlay. I'll get 2 more picks, both overtime bets. Dallas at Arizona. Believe it or not, Arizona's been winning hockey games, and they've been doing pretty well. Dallas isn't the type of team to force the pace offensively, especially on the road. But Arizona also isn't the type of team to continue to win games convincingly. So this one feels like a 2-1 overtime game. I don't care who wins as long as it goes in overtime or a shootout. Plus 320 for $20. And to build off of Mick's point on the Avs and Preds, the Avs have been overachieving recently. I think they've got earlier in the week They had, I think it was 36 goals in their last 6 games, something along those lines. Basically, this unsustainable pace. They're going to come back down to earth. However, Nashville also has the ability to keep up. So when I look at the Avs' recent outings, and that is they gave up 5 goals to the Sens. They let another team kind of stay closer than they should have. The Preds, who are riding Matt Duchene, are a better team than they've seen. This is going to be one of those like 6-5 overtime games, I hope. So plus 350, why not? $20 to win 70.
Nice. All right, there you go. Ready for my unicorn play?
You got your unicorn play, then I got my unicorn play.
Nice. All right, so I also like chasing some unicorns. We're gonna find some things that we haven't seen for a while over here. You know, we're not gonna get too crazy. Maybe. I've got 2, and I don't know what. So I'll tell you about which. So I like the Ottawa Senators. I like that as an underdog win. I want to parlay them with Arizona beating the Dallas Stars. Again, we're looking for unicorns, rare things that happen. I think for some reason the Coyotes maybe get a win, and I want to be on the right side of history. You know, like those 4 wins they have, I should have been on the right side of one of those. And then I have a tough choice. Do I take Calgary to beat the Jets? Or do I like Buffalo to beat Detroit? I don't like Buffalo to beat Detroit. So I think I'm going to go with Calgary. I'm going to parlay. So that's Arizona, Ottawa. Those are my 2 unicorns. I'm going to throw the Flames in there at plus 1,015 at $10. And that wins you almost $200 right there. It's like a $186 payout. Or sorry, actually $111 payout there. That's my unicorn play of the day. So I need to see me some coyotes going yip, yip, yip. I don't know, whatever sound a coyote makes. So they're not very intimidating.
No, they aren't. And you know what? I'm going even more unicorn. And I was trying to think what's more unicorn than unicorn. I was thinking maybe like masked gangbang. I don't know, like maybe that's kind of the direction I'm going. Something that's just like that great. I am actually parlaying all 4 of my picks. So that is, I really do like all 3 of these overtime games to go to overtime. I like the Senators tonight. I've got $20 left, and I'm putting it all on that parlay. It's a plus 22,519. So by putting $20 on it, I stand to win $4,500. And I told Mick before we started recording, I was like, I'm actually going to go make this bet. So we are eventually going to have that Crazy Taxi arcade game to play. I know I said FanDuel money maybe last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, but gambling money. I'm going to own Crazy Taxi next time you come over so we can play the Crazy Taxi arcade game, and I think this is going to help you get there. So
you're even going to be able to afford the OLED screen with that kind of a payout. So holy smokes! All right, you weren't kidding about a kill shot. He said that. He's like, I'm going to go for a kill shot on you, and I'm thinking like, you know, like a plus 400. Well, good luck. Good luck to you, sir.
Yeah, you know what? This could actually pay for the mass gangbang.
Yeah. Huh. All right.
You know what? Crazy Taxi and mass gangbang. This is going to be great, Mick.
Well, you might need a break at some point. But, okay, guys, I'm tapped out for a bit. I just need to go play some Crazy Taxi for a bit. I'm just going to drive around.
That's our fluffer is just... Yeah, you get to go play Crazy Taxi for a little bit.
Nice. All right, well, that sounds... out there in the ridiculous world. So not bad. Good luck to you, of course. And see what happens. All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready to win some cards?
Oh, man. I was born ready.
Nice.
Not that I've been practicing or anything, because normally my, C- hockey knowledge is enough to get me at least a decent card, something to get excited about. So I'm ready for whatever you're going to throw my way. As ready as I've ever been, which is C- ready.
All right, so I've got 5 packs of Tim Hortons cards right here that you potentially could win. Could be anything in here, even a Hockey Heroes or like some type of replica jersey. I think I took all the fatter ones, so more than likely nothing special. What you're going to do today is we're going back to the great year of 2010. I want 2010 NHL playoff scoring leaders, top 5. If you hit all 5, I have a special bonus.
Oh my God.
That you could potentially trade those 5 packs for this pack today if you can hit all 5. 3 strikes and you're out. Can Grant do it? Is Grant going to get any cards, or is he going to get the special bonus pack of cards that I have hidden there? So,
If we were a sitcom from the 2010s, this is exactly where we would leave off, and it would make people tune in next week to get the conclusion.
Yes.
But we're living in the present. I will say this: 2010 stuck with me. I should say it was really just becoming a parent that really like messed with my memory for a few years. So like 2011 to 2015, 16, kind of a wash. 2010, I could tell you that Philadelphia played Chicago in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I know that this was the year that Patrick Kane had the like most anticlimactic goal in the entire Stanley Cup history because it snuck in. And he's skating around because he knew it was in. Everybody else didn't know what was happening. And he's celebrating his Stanley Cup victory goal. And everybody's like, where'd the puck go? So, on that note, I will say Patrick Kane made the top 5.
There you go. With the easy shot, big shot right off the top, Patrick Kane is number 3 with 28 points. So, ding, ding, ding. Good job, Grant.
So, and I don't think a Chicago Blackhawks playoff win would be complete without Jonathan Toews getting in on the scoring. Did Jonathan Toews crack the top 5?
At number 2 with 29 points, one more than Mr. Patrick Kane. Jonathan Toews is there. Ding, ding, ding.
And this was Duncan Keith's glory years. So Duncan Keith was involved in a lot of scoring this time of year. I don't know if he made the top 5, but I'm taking a stab.
Duncan Keith at 14 with 17 points, unfortunately did not make the top 5.
Ah, shoot, hey? All right. So, time to go with some Flyers. Man, 2010. You know, I think Chris Versteeg was on that team. Bit of a shithid. I know he didn't make the top 5, but... or no, you know what? Maybe he was on the Blackhawks that year. Anyways, doesn't matter. Who would have... Okay, let's go a little deeper. Did Scott Hartnell make the list?
Scott Hartnell. At 13 with 17 points, tied with Duncan Keith. Did not make the top 5, unfortunately. So that is our second X on the day. Can Grant run the table? He's got 3 more people. He's got 2 Flyers and a Blackhawk left on the board.
All right. Well, I don't even know if this guy played in the NHL then, but did Claude Giroux make the list?
Oh my gosh. At 6th, Claude Giroux had 21 points. And that is our third X. That's too bad. That's too bad. I really wanted you to get that bonus pack of cards. But there's always next week. It'll sit there for a week, and it won't drive me insane wanting to know what's inside. Number 1, let's look at number 5. So we have Patrick Sharp at 22 points, Mr. Handsome himself. Number 4, Mike Richards.
Damn it!
I mean, I was like, this is like the best giveaway ever. And then number 1, of course, at 30 points was Daniel Briere. So
I never would have guessed Daniel Briere. Never in 100 years.
No. But you still got 2. So of these 5 packs of cards, which 2 would you like?
You know what? Let's make another mixed sandwich. I'm going to take the 2 end pieces.
Okay, all right. So they're there. Let's see what Grant won himself today. Could be anything.
It could be anything.
Oh, this is a banger card on the back here, so I can't wait to get to that one. So we're going to start with a Jack Hughes.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Does that count as a rookie card? Oh, no, he played for the Devils for 1 season. In the back, we got Christian Dvorak, number 1 center extraordinaire in Montreal. He's definitely not going to sink their season. And I see a promo card here in the middle of a Dylan Cousins.
Oh, man. I was saying the other day, I was like, I kind of like the look of those cards.
It's not bad. Not bad. Or sorry, a promotion, not a promotion. Different things.
Promotion.
Promotion. Let's see. Oh my gosh, these are hard to open apparently. All right. So, second pack of cards. Grant gets himself a Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah!
That a boy.
Leon.
A Braden Shen, everybody's favorite Shen brother. And finally, special card is a canvas Nathan McKinnon.
Ooh, I don't even know. I don't know if I've seen the canvas ones before.
Yeah, they've kind of like a cool matted. It almost kind of looks like a painting. So there you go. So do you want me to open my 3? See what I got?
Yeah, may as well. I'm gonna be a little rattled if you got like 2 jerseys and an autograph, though.
Oh, I got a Connor McDavid signed jersey one. Oh, okay. Oh, and a Leon Draisaitl. Well, that's the bad sign of the card I just opened there. Oops. All right. Oops. On the back. Oh my gosh! Look at this. I got Tim Horton, Mr. Tim Horton himself, in his Leafs glory. The back card, like I was referencing, that Grant probably won't like. I got Connor McDavid. Yikes. And then, well, I mean, it makes me feel better. I got a photo finish of Philip Grubauer. So
I know how much you love those cards. So yeah, suck it, Mick. That's the universe.
I hate them so much. They're the worst ones.
2 more packs to rip through, though. Do you think that we ever win a jersey? And by we, I mean either one of us.
No, I think they're probably all gone. So, I got an Andrew Vasilevsky. On the back, I've got Mr. Jordan Stahl. And I've got a Patrice Bergeron Superstar Showcase.
Nice.
I think I might now own every single Patrice Bergeron. The first time I bought cards at work one day, I opened 5 packs, and I think I got 6 Patrice Bergeron cards. So,
Does he have a loyal following in Western Canada? How did those all end up here?
Random. I really hope it was just random. Oh, well, here we go. So, I'm just going to jump to the back card right now. We've got a Jordan Kyrou. So, maybe that's the universe telling you something good. The front card there, can we see who it is? It's Logan Couture. And I got a die-cut Steven Stamkos. So,
you did all right.
I feel like you maybe got better cards. I like the Tim Hortons card that I got, but other than that, I think the rest of the cards might be better. So
that must be new this season because I don't remember them ever including a Tim Horton card.
It's Tim Horton number 1 too. So there's something suspect going on in there.
Maybe people stopped recognizing that this was actually a coffee shop started by a hockey player.
There you go. All right, so we want Draisaitl, him, Jack Hughes, promotion card. Cool. Nice. So, good job, Grant.
Well, I mean, I don't really get to brag about taking only 2 recognizable names on the list.
It's true.
But,
yeah.
That's it for cards today?
Yeah, kind of short. It's fast. Do you want to see what the grand surprise is that you missed out on?
No. You know what? That will be the cookie crumbs that keep people tuning in next week.
All right.
But we can't call this a Canada Puck podcast without our Babe of the Week. It's kind of, oh man, she disappeared on me. Where did you go? 1 second here while I...
Ooh, a magician this week. That's exciting.
Oh, man. This is going to bother me. Where's the underscore? There it is. All right. So, I can't remember. Was last week a Russian babe? Yes, it was. It was the Russian lady. I've gone back to the motherland for our Babe of the Week this week. Her Instagram is Polly Model, and that is POLLYMODEL, and then an underscore. She still hangs her hat on being a top 100 Maxim magazine lady, but oh my God, yeah, you know what? All the buts. But is the perfect transition word to use in this segment. She is just all sorts of right. Polly Model is our Babe of the Week.
Schwing.
Wing!
Yeah, not bad at all. So look at that. And look, we're done a couple minutes earlier than normal.
It was all the time we spent not wasting on, oh my God. You got to go to the post on November 9th. But anyways, all the time we didn't spend wasting on the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, that's fair. It was a good decision to talk about whatever we talked about.
I think we moved on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how that played out. So yeah, there you go. Nice. So with that, hopefully this week's pretty good. I also feel like right now we're kind of just in that stagnant mid to late, just like mid-January or December kind of Christmas break. Really, nothing's happening. The sky's not falling. Just let it ride kind of thing, right?
I feel like we're just on the edge of that. Because right now we're staying sane with college football, but we're going to get into this, like, no other excitement And that is,
Yeah.
for me personally, it's just going to be hockey. Bowl season is going to roll in towards the end of December. That's when I kind of get more excited about sports again. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens over the next few weeks here.
I
But
guess the only thing,
if there's an equivalent to dog days of summer, I feel like that's what we're about to start here with the hockey season.
Yeah. Now, in the years past, though, we have seen guys like the Pittsburgh Penguins kind of suck into this stretch here. The Tampa Bay Lightning famously started off, it was either the COVID season or the season after that. I think it was the COVID season. Really, really slow. Went on to win the Stanley Cup. Is there anyone in, say, the bottom half of the league right now that would get good odds on a futures market that you're like, you maybe invest some money in there? Like maybe the Colorado Avalanche at 17th, right? Are you getting a decent return in the futures market there?
So wait, they're 17th on the futures board?
Well, they're 17th in the standings.
Oh, I still think they're top of the board in, let me just see here, in the Stanley Cup market. They're still going to be top 3. Yeah, still leading the pack. Their odds have decreased, plus 600. You're right, they're probably not going to fall much further than that. If you're looking for a sincere dark horse, let's see here. Let's scroll down. This sounds a little fucky right now, but Detroit at plus 130, we've seen them be more competitive than they should be. Those odds are probably, like when they're sandwiched between Montreal and Chicago, I would say that Detroit at plus 130 probably presents some value because there's a lot more upside with that team than the teams that surround them in that range. Moving up the board a little bit. You know what? That's the one that jumps out at me the most. Sharks at plus 85, maybe. We've seen the Sharks kind of fly high right now. They're in a tough division. They're going to have to catch Edmonton, Calgary, and Vegas, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like when Anaheim is ahead of them, but, objectively, I would say San Jose is probably the better team. Plus 85 on the Sharks and plus 130 on Detroit are teams where take a flyer, see what happens.
Aiming to win the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, why not?
All right, cool. All right. As I'm looking right now, the best I'm seeing 22 Stanley Cup odds. The Avalanche seem to be favored at plus 600.
Yeah.
Huh. So that didn't really go the way I wanted. So no, there's no value picks. There you go. Nothing.
But the ever-changing futures market is something we can revisit. Who knows? Maybe we'll even include a pick in one of our gambling segments over the next couple of weeks here.
Hurricanes at plus 1,400. Really?
They opened up the season, I think, in the 20 range. I think they started plus 25.
And then they've been leading for like a month and a half, and they've just slowly moved up. Cool. Great. Awesome.
Yeah. The Canes were my pick, actually. I have real money riding on the Canes to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I knew that. So cool. So I guess that's it, right? So that's a show. I guess all we say is till next week. Party on, Grant.
Party on, Mick. We'll see everybody next week.